Hey, what's up you guys? We're back again with the Silverado, and today we're going to be installing the new battery. So we went with the XS D3400 for this pickup. We are running XS battery on the Toyota pickup and on the Silverado Z71, and 2 on the Blazer with the sound system. And these batteries hold up really good, especially on the Blazer. We have the sound system full blast for a really long time and no issues at all. We're also running one on the stroller, the custom stroller that we have, one of the smaller ones, and that holds up for a really long time. So we went with the XS for this build. And originally the battery was mounted here, but we kind of don't like the setup, so what we did is we picked up 2 5-foot 1-inch tubes, and we're thinking of welding them from here to there, and also one on this side. Now the thing is that we were gonna make something like this, but we just decided to go with the nicer battery tray. So we picked this up at Cartech in Corona, and while we were at it, we decided to go with the 4-quart box. So this is gonna be mounted on the opposite side. We weren't sure if this one was gonna fit. This is for an Optima, so we took the battery and we were actually able to mount it in the tray before purchasing the tray, and it fit pretty good. So we are thinking of, first we were thinking of mounting it right in the middle, but now since we got the 4-quart box, either we mount it here on the side like this, or we put it sideways like this. And honestly, I think sideways would look a little better because there's more space in the middle. So if we put this one on that side like that, it would also look pretty good, you know, tucked away, instead of it being like this. So this first tube is gonna be from here to there, but we also need one from here to the one over there. So we have to make sure that we just fit the battery tray as low as possible. So this would have to be right around here, maybe lower, like around there. This is what we got done so far. We cut the 1-inch tubes to fit right here, so this is how they're gonna be laid out. We just gotta put 2 reinforcement things in the middle just so these won't twist too much. Then we're gonna weld the trays. Well, that one's gonna get some brackets done. Alright, so we put the camera aside for a while. We got this whole thing welded in. We welded the tray to the tubes. We also put 2 support tubes, one right here, I don't know if you guys can see that, right there, and the other one over there. So that thing is super sturdy. We just gave it a couple of coats of paint. Now once it dries, we're going to set the battery in, but the welds aren't that great. It's really hard to weld underneath this truck. If we would have removed the drive shaft and lifted the truck up a little more, it would have been perfect, but it's just a battery tray, so we don't need anything too fancy. We tacked the battery tray here and there, also on the sides, and then there's some little holes in here. We were able to get some weld to the tube, and we did a couple, one here, and then on the back side we did a couple more. So I don't think this thing is going anywhere. For the oil, for the 4-quart oil holder on that side, we have to get some tabs, and then we'll go ahead and weld the tabs to the this piece right here, and then hopefully we're able to bolt it down. Now we're gonna cut this off, clean up the tube, and put some paint on it so it won't rust. We chopped the old battery tray off, and now we're hitting it with the wire wheel to clean it up, but it's getting really hot. So meanwhile, we let it cool down. We're gonna throw the battery in here, and we got 2 different sizes of bolts, but both of these just need to be a little bit bigger, the bolt hole. So then bring the battery, or actually let me drill these out a little bit, and then I'll bring the battery and we'll mount it on. We're gonna put some blue Loctite on these. We're gonna start routing the power wire in the ground. So this is what we got, brand X 0 gauge OFC from Sky High, and we ordered this off of eBay. It is a braided sleeve. We're gonna put all 26 feet of wire in this, and then we're going to fold it and route it through the chassis. So I'll show you right now. This is what we have done so far. We put all 26 feet of the wire through that. That's what we have left. So we're gonna take these ends off and then cut the extra braided stuff. By the way, we're also charging the battery, so we want to get this done by the time that's charged. Once we tape this up, we're gonna run zip ties to every foot or so to keep the wires together, and then we'll start fishing it through the chassis probably. I'm not sure exactly, but take a look right here. If we run the wires through the inside of the chassis, well, not the inside, but you know, the inner side of the chassis, the headers are gonna be right there, so it's gonna be too hot. We are thinking of running it through here, so right on the outer side of the chassis, figure out a way to zip tie them there or something, and then get them all the way up there. So let me get all the zip ties done, and then I'll put you guys back on. We have the 0 gauge ran, and we have about 4 feet of extra cable. This is how we route it through here. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. Then we zip tied it to the hoop right here. So this outside one is going to be the ground, the inside or the bottom one is going to be the power. This one's going to go directly to this bolt right here between the bracket and the case of the alternator. The alternators with a lot of amp have one dedicated bolt that grounds to the case of the alternator. Since this is the stock alternator, we're just gonna try to put it right here between the case and the bracket using this bolt right here. It should fit. We did that on the Trailblazer and it's been working pretty good. For the power, we're just gonna cut it to length right around there. So let me show you how we did it over here. We used one of those zip ties to put it on that bracket, also that wire right there, and we ran it here, trying to keep it as flat as possible. Did the same thing down here, all the way to the back. So back here comes out flat, and then this one's a positive, this one's the ground, so we just gotta flip them, but they're ready to go on. It's gonna be one for this side and one for this side. So we're gonna start off by removing the alternator so we could get to this bolt. We just have to pull off the belt, and that's the tensioner right there. We have a new belt for that, and we have a new belt for the AC, so might as well do those two while we're at it. We got the serpentine belt off. Just put a 15 on that pulley right here. You pull it up, and that loosens the tension on the belt. So now for that micro pulley, we have to get way down there, put the ratchet on it, and just pull it up as well. And then that little belt should come off. This is the belt we got for that AC. This is the part number, and this is the one we got for the bigger belt from Gates. We removed both bolts for the alternator. We unplugged this little plug, and this one is coming from the distribution block. Now we could remove the alternator, hopefully. Set that aside. Now this is what we want to push out a little bit so that the copper lug could fit in here. We just use that big hammer, and you just have to make sure that it fits in like this so the bolt could go through, and the copper lug is going to be sticking out that way. So with that in place, we can now measure how much we want for ground, cut it, put our copper lug with that same one, crimp it, and then bolt everything back down. We can't finish connecting the power sides because we're waiting for the copper lugs, and they should be getting here today or tomorrow. So we're gonna remove the double din because I think it was connected directly to power, because you would have to turn off the double din if you turned off the truck manually. You had to turn off the double din. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this trim piece off. I already see a cable. So you guys see this right here? I don't know what that's for. Let me go get the, I believe that's like an 8 or a 7. Pull both of these off because the AC won't kick on. Only on the defroster. I know it could be that little door back there. I forgot what that's called, but it could either be that or they didn't plug this in. Just pulled out the double din. And I don't know exactly what this is for. Some cheap RCAs. These are gonna get pulled off for sure. Maybe a backup camera. And there's no antenna. I don't know what happened to the antenna. Maybe that's what was cut up. We're gonna have to route a new antenna. And we are gonna have to fix these cables. So look, it's a mess. At least they have the harness plug, but still. Shit. Let me pull this off real quick. Alright. Now we're going to remove this. Hopefully it's just something right here that's disconnected, because and we haven't been recording too much because it's really hot out here and we're just trying to get this done ASAP. So we just been like, you know, doing whatever we got to do and then showing you guys what we've done. So I found the antenna back here. I don't know why they wouldn't pull it through and just connect it, but so we're gonna put this back. This seems like it's not the issue. We're gonna have to fix the AC door actuator, whatever you call that. So we capped off the wires that we're not going to use. We haven't taped it up because we are going to put the radio back in, make sure everything works before we tape all this up. And I think this truck had a sound system because it does have some RCAs. And we don't have the adapter for the antenna, so that's going to get left out. We're going to plug this in and throw the radio back on. I almost forgot, these stupid GM vehicles don't have an ignition wire running to the radio, so we're going to run one before we put the radio back in. We're going to run one and connect it to this red wire. We just got our package in from eBay, and this is what we got. These copper lugs, 0 gauge with the smaller hole, because we have a 3/4 hole on the other copper lugs that we have, but we had to order these. So we already did the ground. That's what it's gonna look like. Then we have to work on the positive side. And up here in the engine bay, power side is done. This is the run from the battery all the way to the alternator. The ground is done. So we only have one more connection to do, and then these we'll probably just throw it in here, like whatever for now, because we are gonna replace the transmission cooler, so we're not gonna be needing this controller no more, and we're not thinking of running too many lights or anything like that. So I think we should be good without this controller. This ground has to get redone. I think I have an extra ground ready to go, so we might just throw that one on for now. So all we do is we just put this copper lug right next to this, get a rough measurement of where we have to cut. We use this blade to go around the braided sleeve and the insulation for the power cable, and then we use this tool to crimp it. We got this on Amazon or eBay for like 60 bucks. And then we slide the heat shrink over it, and we use the heat gun to heat it all up, make it nice and neat. So let me get to this one real quick and put you guys back on. This is what the positive side looks like all done. So now let me show you for this truck. We're gonna go directly to the battery, no other terminal on these top posts. We're just gonna bolt it down with this bolt. And we also picked these up at Home Depot. They're like copper washers, just to make sure that the bolt's as center as possible. So when you order your battery from XS, they have other options for your vehicle. Well, for the terminals, you could order these, so you could run these type of terminals on the battery if you want, or any other type of battery terminal. And they have some L shapes as well. I think they have these also to extend your terminals. They send you the bolt and the washer, well, the regular washers with your purchase, so you could go straight to using these. Now let's install the positive side and we're all done. We're gonna put the washer and bolt like this. The battery's all juiced up, so it has power now. Emergency light. You have to charge these batteries once you get them, because you want them to be fully charged when you install them. Make sure you do not strip the terminal on this battery, because or else I don't know what you guys would have to do, but it wouldn't be a good thing. All done. Now we can go ahead and fire this thing up. Make sure it can park. We got power. We left the dash thing off because we are still working on the stereo. So we have to run a 12-volt ignition. So we are going to use this. I have to cut this cable shorter, and we're going to tap into one of these fuses. So we have to get a smaller fuse tap for that. So far so good. Battery. It's a little past 14, which is good. So let me finish this up, and then we're gonna go ahead and wash the truck. It's pretty dirty. We also have to go get an exhaust. It looks pretty good. We got the truck all washed. It looks way better than how it was. The fan is on for the transmission cooler. That's gonna get relocated in another video. See, the radio turns off when the truck turns off. It wouldn't do that, and that would kill the battery. The voltage is dropping a little bit. I don't know if it has to do with the alternator or what the issue is, but we're gonna drive it and see if it gives us issues. If it does, we are gonna replace it or get it fixed or whatever, hopefully possibly with the MechMan alternator. The interior is gonna get cleaned up. Bedside is back. We didn't zip tie this to the cage, which we have to do next. Battery's looking real good back there, way cleaner than how it was. We're gonna put the excess power battery stickers right there, or maybe over there, I don't know. That one's gonna come off. That's gonna get cleaned up from the old sticker. This is gonna get chopped up, another video as well. That's it for this video. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Yonke_OXE Films. I'll leave that in the description down below, and we'll catch you in the next one.